Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle and triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining us today for this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Sofija. Sofija has created a brilliant life for herself that can only be explained by her constant perseverance and do whatever it takes attitude. She is here today to talk about a different way of viewing life. She advises humans to be daring, to appreciate their failings, and most of all, to have multiple role models to mimic in order to keep a positive focus on life. Welcome, Sofija. What do you think is the meaning of life?
Oh, 42. To expand on that, that's actually, do you know the quote, by the way?
No?
Oh, it's from The Hitchhiker's Guide from the Galaxy.
Okay.
It's a really funny story. I've seen the movie, I haven't read the book yet. But it's a book by Douglas Adams for anyone that wants to know. So there's the all-knowing computer, and the people go through it and ask them, what is the meaning of life?
Okay.
And then the computer is like, you have to come back in 10,000 years. And they're like, seriously, we have to wait for that long? And they're like, the computer is like, hey, it's a complicated question. And so people, being humans, like being people, they make this massive big charade with parties, and today is the day that we get the answer to the meaning of life. And the computer, and they're like, hey computer, so what's the meaning of life? And the computer is like, ooh, you're not gonna like this. And they're like, what is the answer? Tell us right now. You're really not gonna like this. What? Tell it to us. We need to know. We want to know. And the computer just goes like 42. And I would say, like, how I interpret that is that everyone creates their own meaning of life. Everyone has the power to decide how their life is going to be. Personally, for me, the meaning of my life is to help people. It's all I want to do in my life. And that's why I try to do sessions, and I've actually created a community in my country for women to get mentorship and to get older women open their doors for them first, because it's so much easier to enter with the door if you have a referral. That's super important. And but generally the meaning of life, 42. It's simple as that.
Is that for real? That's like in a movie?
Yeah. And it's in a book, and it's super hilarious, and it's super sarcastic.
Wait, I
Oh,
feel like this is something that my fiance told me to watch and I never watched. What's it called?
I'm gonna write it in the chat. So it's called the
Yes.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And it's a book by Douglas Adams originally. It's
And
really, really
and then
cool.
that's it? Like the thing just says 42 and then that's
Yeah,
it?
yeah, because it's
And
a
then is
super.
everyone just like, "What?"
Oh no, the humans were like, they were like, seriously, we waited 10,000 years for this. But if you think about it, it's super subjective what the meaning of life is. And to a computer, it's just a mathematical number. It's just calculations and
Wow.
calculations over and over again.
Wow. Crazy. So I
Yeah.
know that you're 24,
Yeah.
but at the age of 24, what would you say success means to you?
Ooh, ooh, what success means. Personally, I have one vision, and there's the vision of what everyone else wants you to be because you're 24. and people think that they have the power to tell you what to do. Even if my parents are not control freaks, they still have aspirations for their kids. Like, they're ambitious because I also have an older brother. And then at the age of 24, a lot of people will expect you to get out of school, get a high paying job. I mean, entry level job, whatever. Um, and basically have your finances in order as much as you can and have a stable life and also be in a relationship. Like, coming from the Balkans, being in a relationship and being married at the age of 24 is considered an achievement. Personally, for me, success would mean that I am progressing in my career. And it doesn't matter how much, it just means that I am better from the version that I was yesterday, that I am just one step further than where I was. That's when it comes to professional life. When it comes to personal life, basically just slowing down and focusing what you want to focus on and not what other people wants to do. So again, success is very, very subjective, but to be honest, I think my mother has the best definition of success. It's peace.
Oh,
You're successful when you're at peace. That's her definition of success. And she's like 52. She's born 1968, so I'm terrible at math, so I don't know, but I call her the reincarnation of Buddha because she always handles things very calmly, and she's like, conflict is never the answer, let's talk about things. And I actually asked her, and I'm like, Mom, what is your definition of success? And she was like, at the age of 52, very simple, that I'm at peace, that I don't worry about things, and that if even if things are not going my way, I can improve them, but I feel at peace at myself. Especially living in such a difficult time that we are, when technology is like da 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 da, da, and we're constantly bombarded with successes and achievements and this and that and that. It's so important to just, take a step back and just meditate, breathe it out, and just figure out what your own definition of success is. For me, I really see my career as my main success. I don't really care that much for marriage and having kids. It's not something I see myself as doing as much. And of course, a lot of people have opinions about those things. But success is definitely, for me, having my own company, helping out women. And I definitely want to start doing coaching. I see myself as a person who would be a great coach eventually. And it's never too late to start. So
yeah, 100%. Any age, any
exactly.
age, definitely. What
What's your
would you?
definition of success, by the way? I really want to know.
What's my definition?
Yeah.
It would be the same, exactly the same.
Wow.
That's actually what I say, for real.
Wow. You
Yeah,
should meet
I
my
think.
mother.
Ah!
You should definitely meet her.
I think that when all the things are aligned, so my
Yeah.
curriculum teaches health, relationships, prosperity, and joy. There's four circles to life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are at a position where all those things are flowing well, you
Mm-hmm.
have a sense of peace. And at that point, I feel as if you're successful.
Exactly.
You're successful.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One thing that I would add to that is I believe in constantly evolving.
Yeah. For sure.
So, yes, to have a sense of peace, but then to also, I think that you can only stay stagnant in a peaceful state for a very short amount of time until you need to progress and add.
Yeah. And
So,
also, like, if I can just add, like, having a self evaluation, like, I don't know, once a week, once a month, or whatever, to see if you're on track to where you want to go, is also super important. Like, for example, in journaling, if you do journaling prompts for a longer time, you're going to start to notice patterns that happen within you, and you can improve. And those things kind of make you want to improve, because you're like, ugh, I don't really like this about myself, let's see if I can be better. So definitely.
that's awesome. What would you wish for?
Hmm. As in life? Hmm. That's a really good question. What would I wish? I mean, definitely, I would wish right now. I really wish the war in Ukraine would end, like the war between Russia and Ukraine. I have so much friends in Ukraine, and if someone from there is listening, like the whole world is with you. Seriously, like what's going on? It's such a big tragedy, and just war everywhere, not just in Europe, but in Palestine and Israel, everywhere that was happening war. Like war is just so that would be the one thing. But what I personally wish for myself is that I allow myself to slow down. Like I'm constantly doing 150 things. And then I would get burnt out. And then I would do like 4 months of like sabbatical and just to, recharge. But then I would do it again. And again, my mom says, Sofia, life is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And you're supposed to run it through your whole goddamn life.
Definitely, 100. You know what's interesting about that, which I would agree with your mother.
Yeah.
However, they do say that individuals who do it a little more like you
Mhm.
are actually more successful.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because that push that you do
Mhm.
is so aggressive that you're
Yeah.
flying forward at such a rate and usually taking people with you, right, in a
Mhm.
business or to the top or whatever it is, that it really allows a catapult to happen. So I would
Mhm.
say don't get rid of that, but maybe adjust.
Yeah.
And I would say to make sure that those stints of quietness that you have to have because of a burnout isn't as long.
It depends. Like when
And I
I
would
was
say to
16,
not call it a burnout. I think you're just
oh,
recharging.
mm, yeah, but the problem with ambitious people, I would say, is that we wanted everything always and we
Yeah,
want it now.
yeah,
And it's good,
yeah.
but it's not a long-term strategy. Like for example, when I was 16,
Okay.
I like when I started that job, I was like, I'm gonna sleep when I'm dead. So what I would do is just I would have a meeting at like 9 a.m. and discuss what needs to be written and then go to bed and then get up at like 1, 2, finish my job as much as I can, and then get ready, go out, party till 7 in the morning, and then do it all over again.
Mm.
At the age of 24, I cannot even have an all-nighter anymore because I'm just exhausted. I
Yeah.
am so tired. And I had to study for an exam. Like I'm finishing my master's right now. And I had my last exam and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do an all-nighter and prepare this exam. Nope. Went to bed at 11.
Yeah, and
So
I think that that's you listening to your body 100%.
exactly.
And I do think that when we're younger, there
Yeah.
is, which that's what we're kind of talking about today, is just embrace it while you're young. And I think that that's true. I think that you can do more, work on less sleep when you're a tad bit younger, and then once you start getting into your 30s and your 40s, and you get connected to somebody, you maybe have babies and you have mortgages and all of that stuff. It gets a little more cumbersome to actually do that stuff.
Mhm.
But I appreciate people like you who have that ambition and that those spurts. I think that the breed that you are is very far and in between. And I think that individuals that are possibly quieting that within them can learn
Mhm.
something from you and your story for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. And also like for young people out there is that why I've had so many mentors is that the thing about older people and older generations, they see themselves in you. Like I literally so in my last job where I'm right now, my boss actually told me that he didn't want to hire me because he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to because I'm cunning, I'm ambitious, and I'm aggressive, which means I'm gonna push you when you don't really want to be pushed, which can be great for business, but not really great for relationships. And he told me, and he was like, I did not want to hire you because I'm not sure if I like you because you're awesome, you're quirky, you're, crazy, or I like you because you remind me so much of myself. And If I had a penny for every single time that a professional who's in my field has told me, you remind me so much of myself, I would be a millionaire. And that's what young people need to do. Like, if you mimic older, more experienced people in the way they do, and you just have the ambition and the wish for growth, like the need for growth as much,
Mhm.
older people are going to recognize that, and they are going to want to take you under their wing, because one, they're going to want to protect you from making the mistakes that they did if they can, and two, teach you the lessons that you as a young person need to go through. Because I really think that young people nowadays, and like myself even, we have really big egos, and that's, it's good, but sometimes, you need to know where your place is at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You definitely need to shoot forward, like, definitely, but also having respect for someone more experienced in the room and listening more is highly important.
Yeah. Definitely. What would be some advice you'd give to females who are struggling with um, taking that step forward into a little more of a daring or aggressive persona?
Start by little. Don't do it if you like, especially for women that are more shy. Like, this really goes for the introverts. Given their background, just take one tiny step at a time. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to write like 20 emails the way I did. Write one email, write one sentence. Like, your message can be the shyest, tiniest messages, but one little spark of just like a hint of being brave, and take it one day at a time. And then you're like, if you take it one day at a time, you're constantly gonna improve. And if you do it all, then it might be too aggressive, or it might be too much, and you never know. So if you are struggling to go through that, take it one step at a time. Start by writing one message, start by applying for one job, and take it on from there. But if you feel the pressure that you have to need to get a job, you need to get your life in order because everyone else wants you, and being a young person, that can really, like, really push on your head, then definitely do it all. Do it all. Like, there's not a chance that it's gonna go bad. What can happen? They're gonna say no, or they're gonna say you're a shitty person, bye. So what? I've literally had one of the worst things that happened to me in my 8 years as a writer is that I had a company who thought my work was shit, and they never told me. And I literally said to them, is like, you can like, writing is extremely subjective, thoughts are extremely subjective, and that's fully okay if you tell me my work is shit. At that time, I felt like shit because I knew that the quality of the work is not good enough for them. And that's because I just didn't have the knowledge of their company on how to do it right. And I really went through that episode. What if I'm charging too much? What if I'm not good enough? And then I was like, hey, no, we do not really do those thoughts around here. Those thoughts, we had them once, we're passing, and then we're going.
Mhm.
Because on the market, there's always someone who's going to buy your services, especially in freelance. There's always going to be people who are interested in what you do. And because, as what was his name? Oh, he's the greatest guy in marketing. I can't really remember her name, but people who work in Seth Godin. There it is, Seth Godin. As Seth Godin said, people do not buy products. People connect to the people that are selling those products. People really want to work with you because you're you, not because you're the greatest writer of all time. Honestly, just go on Fiverr and you're gonna find writers for $5 who are probably greater at it than I am. But people want to work with me because of my quirky personality, because I'm not afraid to ask for the things that I want. And self doubt is constantly going to be present. As we talked with the comedians, as we talked with Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
you're always going to be afraid whether to bomb, and then just test it out. If you're so afraid, ask for feedback. Give your CV to 10 people and give it to 10 hiring managers, and always ask for feedback. especially in America. I think that because there's so many applicants, there's so many job positions and all of that, companies forget to give feedback to people. But
Yeah.
feedback is so important. And if they don't, give them a call and be like, hey, I recently applied for your job. Can you please tell me what it is that was good about me and what are things that I can improve?
Yeah.
A really, really good thing that happened is that before this job, when I was applying for jobs, I applied in a really hot marketing agency in Slovenia that was really new and really young. But I thought they were doing a really good job at like starting out. So I really wanted to work with them. And even their hiring process was they had questions like, how would you guess who's the oldest member of our team? And they had questions like this. And of course, I was super interested to apply, and I applied. And then they said no. But what was different is the CEO of the company personally contacted me in like the letter of like declining me. They were of like the letter of rejection. He was like, I know that a lot of young people struggle with starting off. So you can ask me for what it is that you want to know. Like, I can basically tell you, like, you can ask for feedback. I was like, well, this is very refreshing in the job market. And I literally asked him, so why do you not think that, why was I declined for this job? And they're like, well, Sophia, you're great, you're a jack of all trades, but right now we're looking for a person who lives and breathes digital strategy and marketing, and you are all over the place. You've done a bunch of things. You've done content marketing. You've went into product marketing. You've done this. Da, 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 da. You're just not the type of person that we're looking for, and that's fine, because this feedback made me personally go for positions that are looking for more all over the place kind of people, and there are companies like that.
Yeah, there are.
Especially startups. Startups
Startups. Yeah.
love it. And
Yeah.
startups are a great way to start out your career. If
Yeah.
you have a chance to go to a startup as a young person, do it. You're going to grow, you're going to get the experience, and it's going to be hectic as hell. It's going to be hectic. And that's going to force you to grow so much and become a senior as fast as you want it to do. So, just to sum it up, basically the number one advice is start small. The second is advice is give ask for feedback from companies, and the third thing is um just be daring and be bold and do it all. Like if you want to do it all, just go ahead and do it.
I
And if
love
not,
it.
take it little by little by little.
I love it. I love it. Well, this was absolutely phenomenal. I
Yeah.
so appreciate you being here and sharing the age bracket that you're in. I just think is such a brilliant age to be at. And I love that you are daring and you're doing as much as you're doing, not taking no for an answer, not letting your supposed or perceived failures get you down and continuing to put one step in front of the other. So I think a lot of individuals your age, they get caught up in the no's, they get caught up in the failings, and they have to kind of sit in the muck for a while. And you're kind of just showing like, yes, all of that, and we have to get up and we have to do it again. And I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's so easy to fall back and be like, oh, I'm a failure, I'm not good at what I do. But then if you don't fail, how are you going to know that you're on the right track? How are you going to know that what you're doing has potential if you've never made a mistake in your life? You're never.
100.
Yeah.
100. Well, I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Sophia. I appreciate you being here. For those of you that are watching live, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with Sophia and I while we talk about her journey. For those of you that made it this far and are still watching and on the replay, make sure that you hashtag replay so that we know that you were here and you watched, and we would love to send you some love. I am going to go ahead and close out. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you follow, like, and share. If you have an amazing story to share of struggle to triumph, be sure to reach out to me here or at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others. Until next time, much love.